Hello again and welcome back to Go Visit Castles.
This time we're in our home county of Derbyshire to visit one of the most well-preserved medieval fortified manor houses in England.
And this is the magnificent Haddon Hall.
So, first impressions of Haddon Hall now that we've had a bit of time to explore.
How ancient the whole place feels.
Yeah.
It's really medieval, the whole place. And how amazingly well preserved and intact the whole hall is.
You've got so many tiny details as well that still got evidence of the Norman buildings that were here at the time of William the Conqueror, and you can see them in the different styles of brickwork that you've got in the towers, the herringbone style, and it's so amazing to see that mixing in so well with brickwork from hundreds of years later just to create one amazing home.
And it is actually how it was.
It's like it's just frozen in time, isn't it?
Is, yeah. Much of what we see within this courtyard was built in the mid-1300s.
Yeah, yeah.
I really want to go and check out the kitchens. I've heard great things about the kitchen.
Okay, I'm going to go and head off to the chapel.
Okay, we'll meet about half an hour.
Yeah, we'll meet up in a bit. Have
Okay,
fun.
I'll see you
in
soon.
a bit. The beauty of Haddon being so well preserved is that you can spot things like this. And these guys are from an Anglo-Norman poem which dates from the 12th century, although there have been many variations of it throughout medieval times, and the poem was called The Three Living and the Three Dead. And the basic premise is of three noblemen or kings who are out hunting, and they encounter three corpses, all in various stages of decay, but nonetheless still animated. And the corpses tell them to remember that life is short, so be on your best behaviour whilst you're still alive before it's far too late. The poem was included in virtually every medieval book of hours, and it's so amazing to see the original artwork as a stark reminder that as you are now, so once were we. As we are now, so you will be.
The kitchens here at Haddon date back to the 14th century, and they are the oldest surviving medieval kitchens in England, and they are spectacular.
After the Norman conquest in 1066, William the Conqueror gave the manor at Haddon to the Norman knight William Peveril. Sir Richard Vernon acquired the manor through marriage and was granted a licence to crenellate in 1194 by the future King John. The licence was unusual in that it only permitted the building of a 12-foot high protective wall and forbid any crenellation. The manor never became a castle.
What have we got here then? Oh,
we've got our banqueting hall because the table is still there at the head, raised higher than everybody else.
it's a nice small cosy one, isn't it? Minstrel's gallery up above, Joe, as well.
I like the enormous tapestry that we've got here as well was gifted by Henry VIII. I think it was produced in the time of Edward IV, and
Okay.
It was a gift because they'd cared for Henry's older brother Arthur, who had died.
And that's been here ever since?
It's still there, it's still hanging there. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is,
the
yeah.
craftsmanship.
Yeah.
It's actually got a very, very warm, cosy feel to it. It doesn't feel sort of dark, cold in any way whatsoever, does it? It feels really homely.
Not at all. And just off the Great Hall, in true medieval fashion, we have got the buttery one side, the pantry the other side,
Right.
and the service corridor leading straight back to the kitchens.
Perfect.
So the kitchen staff can quickly and promptly get all the meals up from the kitchen
Straight up to the top
straight up
table.
to the Great Hall. It's brilliant.
Oh, Gav, I bet this is something you haven't seen before.
Okay.
Have a guess, what do you think that might be?
It looks like a padlock.
It does. Do you know what it's for?
Enlighten me.
That is a sobriety manacle. And in medieval times, at a banquet, you had to have a quota of alcohol. And if you didn't drink your quota of alcohol, you were considered a heretic or you were untrustworthy. So if you left the banquet sober, you were chained to that. And then they just poured all the remaining alcohol down your sleeve.
So you couldn't leave the party unless you were drunk?
No. Fun.
They knew how to do a party back then, I think,
they
didn't
did. So George Vernon's daughter, Dorothy, married John Manners, son of the first Earl of Rutland. There are many stories surrounding their elopement, and they inherited the estate on Sir George's death. Their son John became the first Duke of Rutland in 1703 and took up residence at nearby Belvoir Castle instead of Haddon Hall. The hall was used so little after that time that it remained preserved in its 16th century state. The 9th Duke of Rutland realised the hall's importance and began a lifetime of preservation work. And here we have the 110 feet long, Elizabeth aptly named, Long Gallery.
Oh wow. This is proper Elizabethan, isn't it?
The attention to detail on the panelling, the coving, the ceiling, the windows.
The windows apparently are Venetian.
What I can also see in all the carvings are the boar's heads and the peacocks, which were the symbols of the Vernons and Manners. When the families married into each other, they had this extension built on here. So there's obviously a sort of bit of a homage to themselves.
And put it up there. Do you know what I feel as well coming into this space? I think the amount of fun that people must have had in here over the centuries.
Thinking giant game of tennis.
Yeah.
And you've got this bay window, which is completely separate to the others. An enormous space with a table in it. How perfect would that have been? Just to sit and have a cup of tea, dinner with your friends. And the view of the Derbyshire Dales is outstanding.
It's a fairly nice day outside, Joe, but just the way the light comes through this glass is absolutely brilliant.
And the colour of the glass as well, actually. This really is quite remarkable, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
You can see why it's been used in so many films.
I quite like it here.
Henry VIII was never the heir to the throne. His older brother, Arthur Tudor, was. And Arthur's treasurer and governor was Henry Vernon of Haddon Hall, and Arthur stayed here quite a lot. And on his stay here in 1501, he had a spectral vision that his bride had arrived from Spain and that she was to be widowed early. Sure enough, 6 months after his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, at the age of only 15 years old, Arthur died, with his last words apparently being, "Oh, the vision at the cross of Haddon." So I've had an amazing time visiting Haddon here today. It's really like you've just stepped back in time to the 1600s because it's been so well preserved over all this time as well. Nothing's changed at all, had it? The highlight for me, the chapel.
Yep.
I've never seen anything like the paintings that were on the wall. They were so well preserved under the modern plaster. The colour was still present in some of them, and I really, really like medieval art.
And things like that just don't survive, do they? Very rarely.
You very rarely see, or you'll just see a small piece of it. But to the extent you've got it in there, that's incredible. You can definitely see why it's been used for so many films. I personally recognise it as Prince Humperdinck's castle from The Princess Bride, a classic film. What are your thoughts? What did you think?
I have got 2 words that describe Haddon.
Okay.
And those words are magnificent and perfect. Now, I'm not the first person to describe Haddon Hall as being perfect, but architecturally, there's nothing that you would ever want to change. There's nothing you want to add or take away from Haddon Hall.
No.
It's just brilliant, isn't it?
It is. It's just it's a piece of history, a piece of living history, isn't it?
And it's somewhere you can come and you can actually touch history.
You can touch things that were there at the time of William the Conqueror because it's still here.
So I think it's time to give Haddon Hall a Go Visits Castle score,
I think this is a no-brainer, isn't
Haddon
it?
Hall gets a good solid 10 out of 10 because it is perfect.
And on top of being perfect, it's also got a fantastic little cafe on the way out as well.
Which I think we should indulge in a minute.
Yeah, I think I need some cake now. So if you've enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Go Visit Castles.
See you next time. Bye bye.